actually I didn't record yet. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can make your way on down to your mat. You can feel free to stretch, wiggle, move around any way that feels good to you. Start to drop into your body. Gonna lay this way. Start to notice how you're feeling this morning, just getting a general overall sense of how things are. Maybe like full body stretching it out or rolling around a bit, whatever feels good to you. All right, and then we're gonna grab one dumbbell and hold it between our hands. So 2 hands on, right? And for the feet, right now, let's go balls of the feet right now. So let me come really close, just so I know there was a little confusion last time. So ball of the foot is right here, like the mound of your foot, and then arch of the foot, right? We all know the arch of the foot is going to be more here. So when I say ball of the foot, I mean this area right before the toes, and then arch of the foot is this, okay? So for right now, go ahead and come onto the ball of your foot, okay? And try to lift your heels up a little bit. Okay, you don't want the roller too close, but you don't want it too far away either. So you can kind of feel that out and see what feels good to you. So balls of the feet on the roller, you're gonna tilt your belt buckle, your imaginary belt buckle towards your face. But when you do that, don't squeeze your butt, okay? That's just like, you don't want it to come from there. I want it to come from the hamstrings and more like the low belly. So just doing those 2 things, pushing into the balls of the feet and tucking under, should start to give you some hamstring connection, or it might feel challenging to do in your body, okay? You're on the right track if you got that. And then we're just gonna go ahead and lift the shoulder blades up off the ground and take a breath in where we are here. Try to think of filling up the back of your rib cage when you breathe in, and then you're gonna breathe out. Reach your arms back. I have soft elbows as I reach back. Then I'm bringing my arms forward as I inhale, breathing into the back of my rib cage, exhaling, reaching my arms back, okay? My pelvis is on the ground, okay? It's not lifted, but I do have some pressure in the balls of my feet. And from that pressure, I should feel some hamstring engagement, okay? So it's not like a totally passive position. If for some reason your body isn't comfortable with the balls of your feet on the roller, just come onto the arches, okay? No problem. But our shoulder blades are lifted, okay? We're exhaling on the reach back with the soft elbows, trying to keep those shoulder blades relatively lifted, and then inhaling the arms forward, okay? So we're protracting the scapula around the rib cage here as we do a lat pullover, okay? Elbows bend slightly as you reach back, and then you come forward. Okay, let's do one more. Perfect. Okay, from here, we're gonna build, okay? So the more challenging option would be to keep the balls of the feet on the roller. The still challenging, but slightly less challenging option would be to come onto the arches of the feet. I'm gonna come onto the arches of my feet. It's plenty challenging, but you could experiment with either. We're going to do the same thing, but now go ahead, let your shoulder blades come down so we won't protract them. Push into your feet, okay? And push into your feet to make your pelvis lift up a bit. It's not gonna jolt up. You're gonna still tuck your pelvis and lift the hips a bit. You can roll your spine up, and then go ahead, reach your arms back, big reach. And then as your arm comes forward, you can roll your spine down, okay? So it's a rolling up of the pelvis and the spine, staying tucked under without overly squeezing the butt. You might start to feel glutes kicking on, but that's a result of your hip extension, right? And the lift and the work going on back there. That's not because you're clenching or gripping back there to make this happen, okay? Then just for fun, when you reach back, you can start to reach at an angle. So I lift my hips, I reach up and back to the left. I can come down, and then I can lift my hips and I can reach up and back to the right and then come down. So I can still do it to the center, right? But then I can also get myself reaching at different angles, seeing what that feels like. Rolling hips up as arms go back, and then rolling down as arms come forward. Good. See if you can do like one more in each of those directions. So we'll do like a total of 3 more. even though there's going to be some decent sensation, we're kind of trying to move a little fluid, like a little gentle, keeping the face relaxed. Great job. Okay, let's go ahead and put the weight aside for a second. You might kind of rub behind the legs, get kind of tap behind there, maybe kick the heels a little bit. Just make sure there's blood flowing, that area is still happy. Awesome job. Okay. So now we've got some single leg work to do. So we're gonna start with we'll go left foot on the roller, okay? And we'll keep it at the arch of the foot. We'll keep it in the middle of the foot, okay? Right knees into chest, all right? Elbows are down by the sides or palms are flat on the ground. Whatever feels better in your body works, okay? So from there, tilt your belt buckle towards your face. Go ahead, lift your hips like a tiny bit off the floor. Like my low back is pretty much still on. It's just my tailbone and my pelvis that's lifted. And now we're just holding this isometric for about 5-6 breaths. If you want more challenge, you'll reach your right leg forward and hold the isometric with your right leg extended. That's a lot of work. So you can also just keep the knee in. If it's too much work to do this with your hips up, you can do what we did in the beginning and just push into your foot, tuck under, and you can still get a lot of work out of this without even lifting. Good job. So about 5 breaths with the hips up, and then go ahead, settle the hips down. Nice job. Yeah, check in behind that left leg. Beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to throw in a little like oblique side to side core movement before we keep going with the hamstrings, just to give us a little reprieve. So go ahead, bring both knees over the hips, arms are out nice and wide, palms are up towards the ceiling. I take a moment, I imagine someone was playing tug of war with my hands, pulling me apart in opposite directions. That's just a feel good inner arm stretch. Now I'm gonna start to let my knees rock over to my left, but I pause once I feel like my right shoulder blade wants to lift up. Once I feel like my shoulder blade wants to lift up, I want you to try to get your right knee a little further forward of your left knee. It might not actually go, or it might just be like an energetic thing. That's okay. It's gonna give you extra length through your right side, and then use your right side to pull you back up to center. Now legs are gonna rock with, or we'll say roll with control, or lower with control over to the right. You pause when you feel that left shoulder wanting to lift, and then you try to shift left knee ahead of right knee. Even just trying will give you that extra length, and then you use your left side to pull you up. Okay, so we are gonna go side to side, but they're pretty slow and controlled. We're not rushing. Something to notice here is if you're arching your back too much, that might not work too well, or if this isn't feeling good, because this should feel pretty good actually to rotate the spine like this, then bring your knees a little closer to your chest. That might help. You could do this with the knees in a little. It will take some of the core out of it, but at least it won't be irritating. Okay. But we do want to try to get in touch with those obliques, right, on the side of the body. Now, I didn't even talk about the breath for this, but a case could be made to exhale as you lower and inhale as you lift, or the opposite. So kind of go with what feels natural to you. It could feel better to exhale as you lift as well. Okay, so play around with that. Let's just do one more to each side. Great job. Okay, now we're gonna go and do the iso bridge on our right foot on the roller. So you got the arch of the foot on the roller, most likely. Okay, left knee into chest, elbows by your sides or palms down. Tilt your belt buckle towards your base, push into your foot, lift the hips. Okay, now you can stay here, hold and breathe for those 5-6 breaths, or if you want more work, you can extend that left leg. Okay, you just have to lift the hips a tiny, tiny bit, right? Good. So it's really just my pelvis, my tailbone that are lifted. I barely have my low back up. The sensation is building. I'm feeling lots of core too. You might get some inner thigh here as well, depending on your body. And then we'll go ahead, bring the hips down. You can gently massage behind that right leg, kick the heel. Great job. Okay, so now we're going to do a rotational core exercise. That last one got the lower part of the spine moving. This one gets the upper part of the spine moving. So option to keep both feet glued and planted on the ground, or option to do this with your knees over your hips. Knees over hips is gonna be more challenging in the core, but feet down is good too. So you go with your intuition, or you can try both. But your arms are gonna be back out in a T, palms up towards the ceiling, okay? You're gonna lift your right arm up and start to cross it over your body. Now, as I cross it, my head lifts and I turn my head to my left hand, and I'm reaching my right hand to my left fingertips, and I'm reaching as much as I possibly can, which is probably further than you think you can. Now try to keep your right hip glued down as you reach a little further, and then open back up all the way. Great job. So now left arm lifts up and crosses up and over. Left hand is reaching towards right. It might feel kind of stuck or stiff at first, but take your time here and reach a little further. As I'm reaching, I'm trying to keep my left hip glued down, big reach, and then I open all the way up, right? And so it just looks, we're gonna go side to side a few times. It just looks like this if my feet are down, okay? And same thing, I'm trying to keep my hips completely square or completely fixated, or we'll say fixed on the floor. As you're reaching as far as you can, getting some nice rotation through the rib cage here. Let's do one more in each direction. Maybe that's the time you reach the furthest. Okay, good. Just check in with the hip. Try not to let the hip lift. Big reach and open up. Awesome job. Okay, we have one more to do on each side with the roller here. So go back to left foot on the roller, and let's do dumbbell in the left hand. Okay, so left foot on the roller, dumbbell in the left hand, and then we're gonna reach the dumbbells straight up. Okay, so we did something like this on Friday, but we did it by itself. We didn't combine anything with it. So let's take it one step at a time. If you weren't here on Friday, none of that probably made any sense. But left foot's on the roller, right knee into chest. Okay, you're gonna turn your dumbbell towards your face. So usually we go like this, right, or something like the palm is neutral. I want you to turn your palm towards you. So we've externally rotated our shoulder. Okay, so a couple of things are gonna happen at once. We're gonna go ahead and lift the hips up and bend the left elbow like you're doing a tricep extension. So right now my palm is facing my face, my elbow's bent. Now I'm gonna pause and spin my dumbbell up towards the ceiling. So I'm spinning my forearm. Now I'm gonna lower my hips as I straighten my elbow. Okay, then I'm down here, I turn my palm back to face my face. Okay, and I'll come nice and close in a second, show you, but it's gonna be hips up, elbow bend as you lift, beautiful. Now pause with your hips up, spin your palm away from you so it's facing the ceiling. Now hips down as you straighten your arm. Okay, so keep going like that. We've combined a bridge with a tricep extension, but the tricep extension is kind of funky, right? Oh yeah, everyone looks like they got it, okay? So palm is facing you, elbow bends. Once you're at the bottom, this range of motion might be limited. That's normal. You spin the palm up towards the ceiling and then you straighten from there. Good, yeah, it looks like everyone's got it. Okay, but they're not rushed because you don't wanna get confused or miss any of the steps, right? So maybe like 3 or 4 more, okay? So hips up as the elbow bends, pause, spin the palm up, and then hips down as you straighten. Great job, okay? So it's gonna get into the hamstring quite a bit. Now, depending on how heavy your weight is, you may start to feel your tricep or your forearm, your wrist, anything like that would be good. If you don't feel your tricep working, it's probably just that your weight is a little too light, and that's okay. It's still really good to practice this and try to restore some motion at the elbow. So this is great for the elbows too. Amazing. Okay, shake that out, and then we're gonna do the other side. Okay, so you might just check in with that left leg. So we'll go through it again on the right side. So dumbbells in the right hand, and it's straight up. Right foot's on the roller, knee into chest. So palm is facing my face. That's the key part here. okay? As I push into my foot, my hips come up, I bend my elbow, okay? I pause and spin my palm up towards the ceiling, then I straighten my elbow as my hips come down, okay? Then I turn my palm back to face me. So hips up, elbow bend, spin the palm up, and straighten as hips come down. I should have said this earlier, I think, but if for some reason this bothers something in your wrist or your elbow or your shoulder, you can just do a classic tricep extension. So it's not going to have this like mobility component to it, but you can just bend your elbow as you lift your hips and straighten your elbow as you lower and have your palm just facing neutral like we've done in the past. Okay, so that's an option if for some reason this kind of wacky variation doesn't work for you. Okay, but give it a whirl. You might notice one side feels more limited than the other. That's pretty typical. Okay, so let's do maybe like 4 more on this side just to even things out. Beautiful. Okay, so then great job. You can put your dumbbell aside, right? Kind of rub behind that right leg. Maybe just roll the lower back from side to side a few times or full body stretch. We're going to be changing shape and we're going to come into our side plank. So you can come onto your right and I'll come onto my left. I'll mirror you. And you can put the roller aside for now. Okay. So you can come onto right forearm. All right. You can do flat palm or pinky side edge, whatever feels better for you. And then we're stacking the knees and bringing our feet behind us. Okay. From here, we're going to lift up into our classic side plank. So you're pushing through the outer edge, okay, of this right leg to make your hips lift up off the ground. All right, great. Once your hips are up, you're going to lift your top leg, knee and foot. Lift your top leg a little bit. And now pull your knee towards your chest. Okay, so try to get the knee at least in line with the hip, if not a little higher. Now drive the outer edge of your bottom leg through the floor and get your hips up more. You can feel free to reach this arm forward and just hold and breathe. This is challenging, so you might stay here. We did this on Friday though, so I want to add a little bit onto it. If you want, you can keep your lower body the same, but you're going to thread the needle, inhale and turn, reach your left arm under your right underarm, and then open all the way up and pull your knee to your chest more. Drive the outer edge of that bottom leg through the floor. So I inhale as I rotate. I'm not turning my hips very much, just my rib cage. Exhale as I open and try to lift up even higher. It should be borderline brutal on that bottom leg glute. Just keep driving through that bottom leg. Okay, good. Maybe only like 2 or 3 more because you're probably feeling why. Good job. Okay, hips can come down, and you might have felt your top leg too. That's possible. Maybe the hip flexor or the outer edge of that leg. Yeah. Go ahead, swirl it out for a sec. Check in with your head, your neck, move it around to different angles, right? Maybe bounce the shoulders up and down a couple times. Beautiful. And then we'll visit the left side. So you got your side plank set up. You're on the forearm. Knees are stacked. Feet are behind you. Okay, so you're driving through the outer edge of this left leg. Hips are coming up. Typical side plank. You could also stay here and hold this too. So there's lots of options here. But if you're gonna build onto that, okay, you're gonna bring this top knee up to your chest. And if you want, you can stay here and reach this arm forward, hold and breathe, but keep trying to get your hips up higher from driving your foot through the floor. You're gonna do the full thing. You're gonna rotate, reach under, and then rotate, open up, drive that left outer shin area through the ground to try to get your hips up. Every time you open up, keep pulling your right knee up towards your chest. Good job. Inhale as I reach. Exhale as I open up. Face, neck, head, jaw. Stay relaxed. Beautiful job. Okay. Hips come down. Swirl it out. Take a second. Awesome. We are going to transition into table. So You can have your yoga blocks just near you at the front of the mat, dumbbells close by. But to start, keep it fairly simple. Spread your palms, okay? One hand under each shoulder, and then knees are about hips width apart, okay? And then just do a couple of gentle pelvic tilts here. Tuck under a little, untuck a little. Just get the pelvis moving. And then I want you to pause with a little bit more of an untuck anterior tilt, but it doesn't mean that you're dropping your belly to the floor, okay? So you still have some lower core engagement as your tailbone is lifted, okay? You're pushing through the floor a bit to keep your rib cage lifted while collarbones aim forward. From there, go ahead and rock your butt back. And then as you rock forward, try to keep your elbows straight, okay? Rock back and rock forward. Try to keep your elbows straight. Try to push into pointer finger and thumb mountain, the arch of the hand. Try to put pressure there as you rock forward. So you can go outer edge of your hand as you rock back, inner edge of your hand as you come forward. Good. Just 2 more like this. Head stays in line with spine. Nice. And then see if you can go ahead, take your right hand away. You can go behind your lower back, or you could just take it like to your belly or your chest. Just take that right hand away, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and shift right. So shift to your right leg a little bit more, so your body weight's in the right, and then right glute back to right heel, straight back, and then rock forward, load your left hand. So we're rocking on this diagonal. Hip back to the right, loading into the arch of the left hand. Yep, rocking back to the right, and then load into the left hand. Good. Try to stay lifted in the collarbones and the sits bones. If this internal rotation of the shoulder doesn't feel okay, just take your hand to the front, okay, so it won't challenge that as much. Good. And then we'll switch. Right hand down, left hand comes up off the floor, and you'll rock back to the left, and then load your right hand. Rocking back, you can go to the outer edge of the hand, rocking forward, pushing to the arch of the hand. Nice job. Maybe like one more. Beautiful. So left hand is going to come down to the mat. We're going to tuck our toes. Okay, try to keep those collarbones lifted, and take an inhale with your knees down. Exhale, hover your knees an inch off the ground. Okay, inhale, reach your butt back towards your heels. Exhale, push off the balls of your feet, propel yourself forward. Inhale, rock your hips back to the left. Exhale, propel forward into both hands. Inhale, rock your hips back to the right. Exhale, propel yourself forward into both hands. One more time to each angle. Straight back, propel forward. Back to the left, propel forward. Back to the right, propel forward. And then hips are going to go all the way up and back into a downward facing dog. You can bend into one knee and then the other. Shake the head yes and no. This is our little bit of a reset here. Beautiful. And then we're walking our feet towards our hands at the top of the mat. And we are going to take both dumbbells up with us. So grab your 2 dumbbells if you have them. Feet or hips width. I want you to bend your knees generously. Like, go ahead and really bend those knees. And now shift your body weight over the middles of your feet. And we're going to rotate the body around the right leg and then around the left leg. So try to load, when you're rotating around the right, try to load your body over that right foot. Feel free to breathe or linger at any angles that feel like a nice stretch. And then you can rotate over to the other side. Big reaches here through the arms. It kind of helps, I think, to hold the weights. They kind of work as a counterweight. Yeah, just try to stay bent in the knees and really rounded in the spine. Once you're good with that, come through center. Now, ground your feet into your mat to segmentally roll all the way up. Once you make it up to the top, we're going to look up, look down, round the spine. Now, you're going to roll back down, upper back, mid back, lower back. Make sure those feet are at least hips width. And then start to let your knees bend forward towards your second toe. So this is going to work some of our ankle mobility here, our dorsiflexion. As your knee goes forward, the arch of your foot gets to lengthen. Go as far forward as you can keep your heel down and you feel comfortable. And now push your feet through the floor as you reverse that and roll all the way back up. Nice and slow. Great job. Okay, so let's do that one more time. You look up, you look down, taking our time, flexing through the spine as much as we can. Like, it's really not something to be afraid of. We want the ability to make a C curve and round the spine. Okay, so you're over the middles of your feet, then you start to let those knees go forward. Okay, you don't go so far forward that the heels come up or pain happens or anything like that. You just find that end range of that ankle range of motion, and then you reverse it and all the way up. So that's a nice one. And then I'm just going to turn and face you for this one, but you can stay facing the same way. I just want you to see, we're basically doing a side to side version of that. It's going to stretch out the sides of the body nicely. So let's go to the left side first. I'm going to go the same way as you. Keep your feet as they are. Start to move your left ear towards your left shoulder. Okay, so we start with the head. Now you're going to start to think about your left hand getting closer to your left foot and your side bending to the left, but you got to bend the knees, and you're going to just kind of crawl your right arm up your body. You're not going to go nearly as far down, but we are bending the knees and you're opening up your right side. So you get a big stretch through the right side. Once you reach that end range, start to straighten the knees and roll up. And then we're going to go to the right. So right ear moves towards right shoulder. Your body weight kind of shifts to your right foot a bit. Your right hand moves towards the ground. At a certain point, you should start to feel some nice length through that left side. You'll bend the knees, find that stretch, and then push through the feet and roll up. So let's do one more on each side. Left ear to left shoulder, rolling down the left side of the body, looking for that stretch through the right, rolling up. You just got to make sure you bend those knees. If you don't bend the knees, it doesn't really work. Heels stay down, but nice knee bend. Great job. Really good. From there, we're going to spin the palms out. Keep your elbows a little bit soft, and then slowly raise your arms all the way up to frame your ears. Okay, when you're ready from there, you're going to side bend to your right slightly, just a bit, and then side bend to your left slightly, just a bit. Come to center, spin the palms away from you, and then lower with control all the way down. Awesome. And then take a second, swirl it out. And then we're going to get into some hinge to lunges. We did something similar the other day, but we're going to do something slightly different today. So left foot forward, right foot and back, just like you're taking a step in the world, okay? If for some reason it doesn't feel comfortable to have your back foot so close, you could step it back a little further. So you can see what feels best to you, okay? From there, you're going to soften your left knee so it's over the middle of your left foot. Okay, it's right over the middle of the foot. It's not in the toes, but right over the foot. And then shift your body weight into your left leg, okay? From there, today, we are actually going to lift that front heel up a tiny bit. So my back heel is lifted a lot. My front heel is only lifted like a credit card distance, just barely. From there, you want to keep spreading out your toes as much as you can. You're going to hinge your butt back like you're closing a door with your butt, trying to keep your sternum lifted and your tailbone lifted. So I'm loaded over my left leg, lengthening my left glute and hamstring. Really good. From here, we're going to actually drop the left heel down as you transition and sit your butt down, pull your ribs back. Okay, I tucked my pelvis under a little, and now I drive my left foot through the ground, pretending I don't have a back leg to stand all the way up. So we went from a hinge to more of a lunge or squatty position, then we stood up. Okay, we're going to do it again. So one step at a time. Left knee softens over the midfoot. Okay, a left heel lifts a tiny bit. Okay, torso starts to lean forward as butt goes back. I want to stay lifted in my sits bones, lifted in my collarbones. I'm in my hinge. From my hinge, I bring my left heel down as I sit my butt down, pulling my rib cage back. My chest is trying to, like if I had a shirt on, you could read my, or a shirt with letters on it, you could read the letters on my shirt, and then I push through my front leg to stand. Really good. Let's go through it again. Nice job. Okay. So the first one, it's like your chest is facing the floor. Then you try to get that chest up a bit. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. We're just playing around with some different angles here. So left heel lifts, knees over midfoot. Okay. Butt goes back nice and slow. Okay. That might feel like a little balance challenge, or it might get into your calf. It's all good. Now, left heel comes down as your butt goes down, chest up, push through that left foot to stand all the way up. Great job. So then we're going to play with some drop and catches on this side. If you want to do it without dumbbells, you could play around with that. Everyone, I think, will be fine with the dumbbells. Just if you happen to drop it, just make sure it's not on your foot. But I think you'll be good. You can also kind of pretend, like I'll show you what it looks like. Like in theory, we're letting them go and catching them, but you can also kind of just do the rhythm and not really let them go if you're afraid, okay? So what you're gonna do, left foot forward, right foot back, okay? And let's go heel down for the first few, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it with your heel lifted. You might like it. So for these first few, we're gonna think all about a hinge and drive the butt back. So you're here, my knees are soft. I drop and catch and drive my butt back, good, and then I stand up, okay? So make sure your knees are soft, you're over your left leg, drop and catch, and then stand up. So it's all about butt back, right? If I don't wanna let my dumbbells go, I can literally just go quick and kind of pretend, okay? So that's an option. Another one I like is to do the same thing, but lift your left heel. And then as you drive your butt back, drop your left heel. So it just helps you get really connected to that foot. Exactly. So it's the same thing, but now you drop the heel. Okay. It actually is going to light up your left leg a little bit more if you do it with the heel raise, because you're going to get a little more of a co-contraction in that front leg. Great job. Make sure you're driving your butt back. Okay. Let's do one more like this. So that's our hingy drop and catch. Okay. Shake out the leg. We got one more thing on this side. So now we worked on before a hinge to a little bit of a lungier position. Now you can do the drop and catch to a lunge instead of a hinge. So instead of driving your butt back, you're going to go straight down and then push through your left leg, pretending like you didn't have a right leg. So it's the same drop and catch, but you're keeping your chest up and you're trying to drop your butt down instead of back. It's going to be a lot more knee bend. So for some reason your knees aren't thrilled, just go like halfway and then come up. You don't have to go all the way. You can also do this with the heel up in the beginning and then catch and drop the heel down at the bottom. So heel up, heel down, heel up, heel down. Nice job. I'm gonna come take a look. Everyone's doing really, really good. So this is really good for our connective tissue. Okay, it's like more of a yielding type of movement. So you're letting yourself sink into the position. Yeah, oh, everyone's doing really well with it. Good job. Yep, Nikki, see if you can drop them a little sooner. Like you want to kind of drop them at the top and catch at the bottom. You're like doing the catch a little late. So see if you can drop them where you are and then go grab them quick at the bottom. Yes, really good. And you really let them go. But that's the rhythm. You got it. Perfect. Okay, shake that out for a sec. Okay, let all that work go. Beautiful. And now we're going to go back and do the right side. So right foot forward, that'll get the heart rate up for sure. So right foot in front, left foot in back, okay? Left heel up. Now, right knee shifts over the middle of your foot, over the arch of the foot that I showed you in the beginning, right? Then make sure your back heel's up nice and high, back knee is bent. Right heel lifts, and we're going straight back with the butt, trying to keep the collarbones lifted. You're loading into the hinge. From there, you drop your heel, try to pull your rib cage back, sit your butt down. Now pretend you didn't have a left leg as you push through the ground and stand up. Okay, and then we reset. Knee bend, heel lift, butt back, sternum lifted, opening up the back of the pelvis. Very good. Okay, from there, heel down, tuck pelvis a little, ribs back, find your lunge, whatever that looks like. Doesn't to be perfect, and then push through that right foot. Good job. We'll do one more. So knee bend, heel up, all about the butt back, right? So we're not rounded here, no C curves now. It's all about staying long, okay? Long, long, long. Heel down as my butt goes down, and then I push through that right leg. Great job. Everyone did awesome. So now shake out the right leg for a sec, and we're going to do the drop and catches on this side, okay? So it's more about like the timing, I think, than anything, it seems like for everyone. So right foot's forward, left foot's back. We'll do the first few with that heel down. Just make sure your knees are soft, and then it's all about driving your butt back. So from the back, it looks like this. I'm literally pushing, or like I think driving, pushing my hips back in space, okay? That's what I'm going for, even though I'm staying loaded over my front leg. So it should feel like some good work all down the back of that leg, okay? Some nice length. Now, if you want to do it with your front heel up, I think that in some ways it's a little more challenging, I guess. It's technically a progression, but you actually might feel more connection to the movement, if that makes sense, because you're going to get more co-contraction, like calf, hamstring, glute, all working together. Great job. So we'll do one more like that, okay? And then we have the same thing into our lunges. So you can do front heel up or down. Now we know what we're doing. You're gonna go straight down, drop and catch, and then stand up. So you wanna catch them at the bottom, right? Good. And then you can also barely let them go in case you're worried, okay? So heel up potentially, sink into it. Yeah, and then when you're standing up, we're still kind of pretending like we don't have much of a back leg. Of course, the back leg's gonna help, but we're really loading and driving through that front foot to come up. Nice, yeah, Nikki, that was perfect. Good job. Yep, Liza, it might help you to take your feet a little wider for that. Your feet are a little like on a tightrope. Try to stay on your train tracks. Yeah, that'll just help you feel more balanced, I think. Great job. Okay, amazing. And then you can shake that out, let that go. We're going to look up, look down, round the spine, and then roll down. You can lose your dumbbells, okay? Plant your palms, step back to high plank, drop the knees down, and we're gonna do a child's pose. So if you wanna just do whatever child's pose you're feeling and you just need a rest and you don't feel like listening right now, go for it. But I wanna show you this lat stretch that some of you might really, really like. So you would take a yoga block on the medium height, so not the flat height, turn it up one. You then take your forearms on the yoga block out in front of you, but spin your palms up towards the ceiling. And then I walk my knees back. So I'm pretty far. My hips and my hands are pretty far from each other. Yeah, keep walking back. And now you just reach your butt as far back as you can as you round your upper back a little. Think like a baby angry cat position in your rib cage as you drive your arms into the block, okay? If you're not feeling a nice significant stretch through like the backs of your shoulders and maybe your armpits, more and round your upper back, okay? You also don't have to do this variation right now, like I said, if you don't feel like it, but it can feel really nice. We'll take a few breaths. It's also, yep, so Nikki, that's perfect, but now round your upper back a little more. Yes, that should intensify your stretch a bit. Beautiful. Really, really nice. So that's a nice place to then take an intentional breath into your rib cage, like 360 degrees around. See if you can breathe into your armpits, breathe into the back of that bra strap area. Inhale and expand. And then exhale. Nice job. Okay, so we'll crawl out of that and make our way onto our yoga blocks on the flattest height. So we got one hand on each block now in tabletop. Awesome. We're going to a quick down dog. We're not going to be there long. We're just going to tuck the toes, send the hips up and back. From the down dog, we're going to actually rock forward to a high plank and scoot the feet back a little bit. If you want to throw in a few heel pulses here, you can. That generally feels pretty good in the calves. And then you're going to go ahead and lower your right knee to the mat. So the right knee is directly under your right hip. Okay. And then we did something like this the other day. You're gonna lift your left leg, okay? Now, a few times, turn your left femur, so your left thigh bone inward, so it's facing your right leg, but don't drop the hip. Just do hip, knee, and toe turn in and then out. So it's just the femur moving in the hip socket. I want you to see what that feels like. We're gonna make it bigger in a sec, but right now it's just this relative motion at the femur in the hip socket, okay? From there, the next time you drop it in, drop that left hip down and turn it completely in towards your right. So it's really lengthening that right posterior glute, okay? Then you're gonna turn the hip, knee, and toes out, and you're gonna lift your whole hip up and turn the whole pelvis away from your right leg, okay? And I'm actually, even though I turn my pelvis left, I'm actually then trying to turn my sternum back to the floor and have a counter rotation at the rib cage and the pelvis. So now, hip, knee, and toe turn in, and I drop my hip down, I rotate in, hip, knee, and toe turn out, and I turn the whole pelvis away. Okay, let's do like one more. My rib cage is staying facing, or my sternum, you can think, sternum is staying facing towards the ground as best as I can, even when I open. Beautiful. From there, I'm gonna come forward and step my left foot in between my hands, and now I'm moving my yoga blocks to the highest height. Okay, so tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, so we're in like a runner's lunge. Yep, and then go ahead, and you might need to walk your back foot in a little bit so it's not so far away from you, but go ahead and grab one of your dumbbells, and then nice and mindfully go ahead and lift on up. Awesome. Okay, so bring your back foot in even closer. So we're gonna be going into like a bit of a lunge position, but it's not like super far back, okay? So back heel up, you're gonna bend your back knee, okay? We're gonna do perturbation. So grab your dumbbell in both hands, okay? And this is one where like you're in charge of the amount of turbulence you bring on, but we're trying to not fall over is the goal, okay? So you can brace your core a little, bend down as much as you feel comfortable into your lunge. So I could be here, I could be here, okay? Or I could be here. I'm gonna go for the middle, and you're gonna start to shake your dumbbell in as many different angles and positions as you can. So you can go up and down, side to side, right? You're creating a sense of turbulence for your body. The more turbulent, the harder it is. You can go behind you. You can also do this with your front heel lifted, okay? Which is just gonna make it a little more challenging. If that totally throws your balance off, then keep the heel down, okay? So the lower you are, the more of a burn this will be in the legs. But you can also think of it as like, technically you can think of this as a core exercise, right? Because your core has to stabilize you. But it's nice because this is probably like pretty applicable to the real world, because our core has to dynamically move with us and stabilize. It has to do both, okay? Good, it has to be responsive is the word I'm looking for, right? If you step off a curb and you slip, you need things to respond. So that's what this kind of thing helps train. Okay, that's probably good. Drop the front heel down, and then we're gonna drop the back heel down, lift up this front foot and turn the toes in. So we have a wide-legged position of the feet, and then just tick-tock your hips side to side. So we're gonna go into some side lunges. Actually, the way we're gonna do this is actually heel toe your feet all the way together, and then stick your dumbbell in your left hand. So yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing as you. So I'm not mirroring you, I'm doing the same thing, okay? Starting with my feet together. Okay, we're gonna take it one step at a time. So dumbbell in the left hand. I'm gonna step out to my side with my right foot and sink down into my side lunge, okay? So for my side lunge, my tailbone's lifted, my sternum's lifted, my right knee is bent. Make sure you step far enough out that your left leg is straight, your right knee is bent. Now, option one is to push off your right leg, step back in and press your dumbbell up, okay? And just tap that right foot to the floor, then step back out, dumbbell down, you're sinking into it, push off that right foot, drive your dumbbell up. If you want, you can go from here, same thing, but then you can pull your knee to your chest and work on your balance. Having a dumbbell in your hand actually helps you balance because it's a little counterweight, okay? So either one is good. Let me show you what it looks like from the back. I'm stepping to the side, right? And then I'm driving up, okay? So see if you can do a couple more steps and then drive. Good. I haven't said anything about this right arm, but it's just kind of chilling. You can have it bent, you can have it straight down. You could reach it back as you drop down, and then you could reach it forward. Like, you can really do whatever you want with this arm. Great job. Love it. Okay. Relax for a sec. So we stepped out with the right leg. Now, this is where we are going to lose the dumbbell. Okay, we're going to switch gears here for a sec. Lose the dumbbell. This is where I'm going to use my foam roller as my balance tool, but you can use your foam roller or your wall. Okay, you just need to make sure the foam roller is tall enough. I'm using it as balance help, okay? And then we're going to be stepping up on a yoga block, which we haven't done in a while. I'll show you from the front I'll show you from the side first, and then I'll show you from the front after. So we're going to be stepping up on our block with our left foot, okay? Left foot, and if I'm holding onto the wall, it's with my left hand. If I'm holding onto my roller, left hand. Okay, so whatever my balance tool is on my left hand. Then I'm stepping up on my yoga block. When I step up, I make sure my heel is fully on the block. If anything's dangling off, it's my toes. And if you have really long feet, you could put two blocks, one in front of the other, okay? From here, we're gonna do a couple of things. So my left knee is gonna bend a bit, okay? My left knee is bent, my roller's wherever I need it to help me balance, okay? Now, I'm going to be reaching my right foot towards the ground and my right arm up. So I'm like this. So it's a little bit of a step down, but it's hingy. I'm leaning forward. From here, I'm actually side bending a little to my left. I want you to think of your right hip dropping down and your left hip hiking up. So you're opening your right side body, and then you're gonna stand all the way up, elbow to knee, okay? Good. So option one is to keep doing this exact thing. Bending the knee, leaning the torso forward, big reach. Just think about a reach, okay? Hip hike on the left, hip drop on the right, and then elbow to knee. If you wanted to turn it into a curtsy lunge situation, which will give you more left glute, you're gonna bring that right leg back at a diagonal and still do your same side bend and then stand up. So you could alternate between the leg straight back, side bending left, pushing through your standing leg foot, that leg should now be feeling like a lot of sensation. You can alternate between that and the curtsy variation, or you could just do the leg straight back if you want to. So it's really up to you. Take your time, okay? Good. So it will definitely load this left leg quite a bit. Awesome job. Okay, and that should be enough. So you can step down and then shake out your left leg, okay? Really quick, and then we're gonna come back to our mat. We're just going to do a couple of stiff pogo hops to a sinking squat, okay? We haven't done these in a bit, and I just wanna get us jumping a little more. So feet are hips width apart, okay? Fairly simple, okay? You might go a little wider though, depending. We're gonna be landing in a squat, so if you need your feet a little wider, no problem. Your heels are gonna be up. You're gonna do 2 baby hops, and on your third hop, so it's 1, 2, you're gonna sink into it. 1, 2, sink into it. And we're not overly worried about position, meaning like if you wanna make it nice and hingy and lean forward, fine with it, okay? You just wanna focus on these 2 first hops are quite stiff, and then you wanna sink into your position. If your hips feel better, turning your toes out a little as you sink, fine with that. Like, play around a little. What does it feel like to have your feet straight ahead? What does it feel like to have your feet turned out? And then you can also do it with your feet a lot wider. That might feel better in some of your hips. Like, you could literally do it out here, the whole thing, okay? So maybe a couple more of those, just 2 stiff hops. Yeah, to a sinking squat, perfect. That looks awesome. All right. From there, we're gonna be the top of the mat, okay? We're gonna reach the arms up, swan dive forward, okay? And then we're gonna plant the palms, step back to our high plank, drop the knees, and now find any child's pose variation that sounds appealing to you. You can relax your forehead on your arms and make a pillow, or you can bring your feet, so your hands down by your feet and do like a fetal position type of child's pose. Whenever you're feeling, maybe you walk your hands over to one side or the other. Just let your heart rate come down, let your breath settle. Take a moment, take a pause. Then we're going to climb on up. So we want the blocks on the flat height. Okay, blocks on the flat height, one hand on each block, tucking toes, sending hips up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, from down dog, you're rocking forward right away to high plank. You might have to scoot the feet back. Maybe you do a few heel pulses. From there, left knee is dropping down under left hip, right foot's lifting up. So first we have the relative motion, ER and IR. So with a relative external rotation, hip, knee, and toe turn out. Relative internal rotation, hip, knee, and toe turn in. So femur is moving in the acetabulum, in the hip socket, but it's subtle, okay? Then you can turn it into that more global movement where you drop the right hip as you rotate inwards at the femur. Then as you externally rotate, you turn the whole pelvis away from that left leg. We are trying to keep the sternum facing the mat as we do it. Nice job. So right hip, knee, and foot go inward, and you drop the hip down, hip, knee, and foot turn outward, and you turn the whole pelvis away from your left leg. One more. Beautiful. And then square the hips, step the right foot forward in between the hands, move the yoga blocks to the highest height, tuck the left toes under, lift the back knee up. Probably going to move that left foot in a bit, and then grab just one of your dumbbells and carefully come on up. Okay, so for this setup, we're going to do the perturbations again. You want to be on train tracks, probably not a tightrope with the feet. Both knees bent. You're in charge of how low you go into this lunge. Hands on dumbbell, okay? And then you just start to shake the dumbbell around in a variety of directions, right? You might get like a little rhythm going. You can kind of hit up each angle, okay? But you can also make it rotational, okay? And then you could do this with your heel lifted as well. Okay? And in something like this, like we want the core to be responsive, and we want it to be engaging the appropriate amount. So it's not that you're like turning your face purple, squeezing your belly or anything like that, but it's okay to have a little bit of a core brace here going, and that might help you be more responsive, right? But you just want to find that sweet spot. You want it to be the appropriate amount. Okay, so it's not like loosey-goosey, but it's not overly tense. Give it a chance to respond. Nice job. Perfect. Okay, if your heel is up, you can bring it down. We're going to spin your left heel down, turn your right foot in. Now we're heel toeing the feet together. Okay, dumbbells now in the right hand dumbbell, and we're going to be stepping to the left. So you're going to step to the left, sink into that side lunge, okay? Butt open in the back, sternum lifted, second toe, knee, sternum, nose, okay? And then option one, to drive up, tap your foot, and then go right back in, okay? Or option two, pull the knee to the chest, just like we did in our side plank earlier, okay? If it's helpful to see what's going on from the back, right? I'm stepping, loading into this glute, opening it up, and then driving up with my dumbbell, okay? So they're pretty light dumbbells, but it's actually still helpful, I think, for the balance here. Good. Really nice. And you can always do this one without the dumbbells too. So it is the drive of the dumbbell and pushing up out of the side lunge is a little quicker, but you could step into it, right? Take a pause and then go. Like you don't have to move super quickly. We do want to maintain nice position here. Beautiful. Let's do just one more. Okay, and then you can lose your dumbbell. Grab a yoga block and grab your roller or your wall, which is now you're going to be holding on to with your right hand. Okay, and this time I'll just show you from the front at first. So I'm stepping up with my right foot, right? Make sure my heel is fully on, right? Okay, I put my roller wherever I need it. Now I'm bending my right knee and I'm reaching my left toes as far back as I can. My right hip is gonna hike, my left hip is gonna drop, and I'm side bending to my right. Now I push through my standing leg and I draw elbow to knee. So I can either stick with this one, hey, it's a little side bend, a big reach back with that left foot, or it will feel kind of nice if you can get into it. You can hike this right hip a bit, drop your left hip, curtsy lunge, sit into that right glute. You're still side bending, and then come up. And I could alternate between those two. The upper body is doing the same thing, if that's helpful. The upper body and the side body is doing the same thing in both. It's the lower body that's doing something slightly different. Nice job. So maybe just a couple more of those on each side. Good. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll come off our block. Last active thing here, we'll do one more round of the 2 pogo hops to a sinking squat. And maybe like if last time you kept your feet really narrow, this time experiment with wide, right? Or vice versa, just do something slightly different than you're used to, but it's gonna be 1, 2, sink, right? Or you could even do like an incremental one. So you get to do it at each angle. See how I just brought my feet together? And then I can go back out and make it wide again. Just to play around a little, see what feels good in your hips and in your body. But either way, we're getting that bone building activity in the mix. Good job. Awesome. Okay. Then we're going to be back at the top of the mat, arms up and wide, swan dive, plant the palms, go ahead, step back, drop the knees, shift your legs around to one side, swing them out in front, and then take 15 or 20 seconds. We're going to bounce the legs up and down on the mat. Give them a really nice shake out here. Really nice shake of the legs. Keep bouncing just a little longer than you feel like it is usually a good way to approach the bouncing with the legs here. Awesome. And then go ahead. Let's do maybe just like 5 or 6 rock and rolls. Just roll out the spine. Trying to make it as smooth and fluid as you can. If you like to have a counterweight and hold your dumbbell here, you can do that. Awesome. Trying to make it as rounded as possible. Okay, and then when you're ready, we're gonna re-arrive on our backs, all right? Take a second if you just wanna kind of plop down. That was a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. So feel free to take a second and gently rock your head from side to side. Maybe full body stretch. Start to invite the body to get heavier and softer, just letting all that work go, letting the breath and the heart rate come down a bit. Okay, so let's go left leg up, okay, and just start to circle that left ankle a couple of times in each direction, trying to keep the toes kind of spread apart as you do it, and trying not to move the hip or the knee, just the ankle. Nice. And then you can start to just leg wave in and out a few times. So my right hip and knee don't move. I'm very like, we'll say stationary on the right so that you can be more mobile on the left. So you're anchoring on the right. Yeah. And then you could turn it into a swivel. So you can do that hip internal rotation as you go in and then external rotation as you go out. Hip, knee, and toe turn in, hip, knee, and toe turn out. Good. And then let's go ahead and just cross left ankle over right thigh. And it's just gentle, like we're gentle. So think of your left knee driving away from you slightly and then rock your legs from side to side. But when we do this kind of more stretchy stuff at the end. It's really just to kind of calm our nervous system down and do it in more of a gentle way. It's not really to like really yank joints or things in all kinds of places and have it be this big intense experience. It's more to just kind of to calm things down, get back into parasympathetic and do a few feel good type of movements. Yeah. Nice job. So then you can uncross and we'll go right leg up and we'll circle the ankle a couple of times in each direction. Again, just noticing if your body's trying to move your knee and your hip and try to isolate just the ankle joint here. And slower is better so that you can get into every angle that your ankle joint can move in. So you're not like bypassing any of that here. Good. And then you can start to wave that leg in and out a few times. Again, anchoring on your left foot and back of your left hip, right? So there's a world where you open that right leg and your left hip just pops up and then, right? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But right now we're kind of purposely trying to keep the left side a little anchored so the right side can move. Yeah. And then you can do the swivel, hip knee and toe out, hip knee and toe in. Beautiful. And then we'll cross left ankle over, sorry, right ankle over left thigh, drive right knee away from your face, and gently rock side to side. Keep driving that right knee away from you. Awesome. And then find any other shape, position, adjustment that would feel nice to you, help your practice feel complete. So if you like ending with a happy baby or a different kind of a spinal twist or full body stretch, or maybe you want to circle the wrists a few times, whatever feels most soothing, calming, relaxing to you, go for it. And then let that take you into a shape for a bit of a final relaxation. So you can grab any props or any blocks or anything supportive. Let the whole body get nice and heavy. Sink a little deeper into your mat. Taking a few moments to just be. And as always, you can feel free to stay here as long as you like or as long as you have. We just went a little bit over today. So if you're ready to make some moves, just bring gentle movement into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe full body stretch it out. And then you can draw your knees in and roll around side to side a bit. Maybe pausing on your side for a moment. Taking your time and making your way on into a seat. And we'll just come together one more time and reach our arms up, growing nice and tall, floating the palms together and down through heart center. And we'll bow forward in gratitude for practicing together this morning. Thank you all so much. It was super nice to see you. Let me know if you have any questions on anything, and I'll see you soon.